thing is, it's not my disease anymore. It's the disease of my whole family. I mean, I think that I suffer as much, if not more, watching them secretly trying to hide their suffering of seeing me at different times. So it's a disease that's changed everybody and everything, I think.
We went to the beach this summer before August. Jason went with us. We do a family beach trip. Since then, I haven't been to a movie. I mean, none of us have. Or out to dinner. He can't even do those kind of simple things. His day
Neither
is...
can they.
Well, I don't want to. Because I'm afraid that one of those thuds are going to happen when I'm not at the house. First woman I met in the GymSit clinic was from Utah, and her daughter was exactly the same age as Jason, and she was in her 3rd year of treatment. And I told her, I said, I don't know what we're going to do. We may have to sell our house. And the woman said, well, we did. She said, we sold our farm. We had a farm. It was organic. We had solar panels. We had goats. We had, everything. And the only way they could afford to get the treatment for their daughter was to sell the farm and move into a rental house. And you'll do that. You will do whatever you need to do, but we all know how expensive medical costs are, even with insurance. If you look at those bills, it's crazy. But when you're not getting the insurance help, even for the medications, it's crippling. It's devastating. And it's unaffordable for a working class family.
An untreated tick bite can lead to where, not in all instances, but to where Jason is. Jason went so long untreated that it invaded everything from his brain to his toenails, every system, his heart, his liver, his lungs, his eyes, every system he has been invaded by these spirochetes.
My greatest hope is that we together continue to this fight to get me better, so that I can work on being a part of other people's journey to get better. Even if that means that all I can do is listen to their story and give them voice. That would be important to me, because even as I sit now, I've loved so much in life being expressive and being able to find ways to describe human experience. It's the passion of my life. But in so many ways, that's been temporarily robbed from me. And I know that I will find a place back where, as for me, it's not about my story, but it's about our story. My family's story with this disease, but also the story of everybody else who has suffered in silence. And beyond that, I think that when we work together, we can solve the biggest of challenges. I've seen it all over the world, and I've seen it here. I've seen it in communities, and I've seen it in my family. And I want to join those people that are working hard to make sure that we can develop the techniques to test and treat for this disease. Because I think that giving people the power to be a part of that is as much a part of healing as any medicine that could come from a pharmaceutical company. I have had a lot of anger, more frustration in, I think, not knowing what I'm going to be like. I think is probably the place that I have anger and frustration, because I feel like adapting to new things is so exciting and full of potential, but without the knowledge of how my brain and my body are going to work, it's very hard to come up with a way to figure out how I'm going to adapt. And I know I can, no matter what it is. So my frustration and anger, I think, are really directed at non-answers. Before it was, what do you have? What do you have? It was 2 years of being in the hospital. What you have, and then it's only now that I feel so frustrated and angry. I think about not knowing, as funny as it sounds, who I will be and who I can become from that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the challenges has always been my deep love for my family. It's a very close family. So, if nothing else, I see a silver lining that I got to, spend so much quality time with them.
So we live in a part of Virginia, the cooler climate, where deer ticks in particular and ticks in general are more common. They tend to prefer the cooler climates as well as climates that are forested, because they spend a lot of their lives in the actual base, the rotten leaves in the base of the forest floor. They reproduce there, and then their juvenile ticks, the so-called nymphs, come out in the springtime and the early summer, and the young ticks are usually the ones that will attach to human beings, and those are often the ones that will then transmit the Lyme disease as well. But again, it's only the one species of tick. It's black-legged tick. You'll probably see that the Shenandoah Valley and this district has a substantially higher rate of Lyme disease per population than Virginia as a whole. And it's mostly just because we're where the ticks are. So Northern Virginia, Shenandoah Valley, the mountainous areas, and down in the southwest is where you see the Lyme disease. The low country and south side has fewer of that type of tick, so you have fewer incidences of disease. If you're going to be out in the woods and out in the country, that's great. I mean, outdoor activity is to be encouraged, and it's healthy. But you take some precautions. So if you know you're going to be in the forest, or you're going to be in an area with tall grass, you know the ticks are there. So you can, number one, you can put insect repellent on yourself, some specific types that are designed for application to the skin. There are a number of them. One of them that the military uses a lot has DEET in it, D-E-E-T. And then there is also a repellent that is not to be used on the skin but can be used in clothing, and it's called permethrin. And again, I'm recently retired from active duty in the Army. Army uniforms are treated with permethrin, the ones that we use in the field. So you can treat your own clothes with it, and that'll keep the ticks away. Wearing lighter colored clothing makes it easier to spot them if they're on you. Some insects don't like light colored clothing, and they'll stay away. And if you wear, and this is counterintuitive, but if you wear longer sleeve shirts, like if you wear a long sleeve light colored shirt, you're much less likely to come home with a tick on you. So prevention is the start. Awareness of the presence of the ticks is the start. And you can pick up a tick off a suburban lawn too. You don't have to be out in the deep woods. But if you're around tall grass or you're in a forested area, it's just more likely. And especially in a cooler climate. Northern Virginia, anywhere north of there up to the Canadian border, or the upper Midwest are the most common places to pick up ticks. Mountainous areas, western North Carolina, for example, another common place to pick up ticks. Awareness of the tick, try to prevent the tick bites. When you get back, check yourself out. And if you have a buddy or a partner, check each other out. And that includes all the nooks and crannies on your body where the ticks might try and hide. If you check yourselves out right afterwards, you'll probably find them before they attach. Let's say the next day you have an itchy spot and you look down and there's a tick attached to you. So the next thing you do is to get the tick off. And there are all kinds of wives' tales and stories about how to take ticks off. The best way is to take a pair of tweezers and grasp the tick firmly but without crushing it, and just hold steady pressure, steady tension until it lets go. And it might take a minute or two. Don't yank it off and rip it to pieces. Just hold that steady tension. Eventually it'll let go and you can dispose of it. So if the tick is attached to you, the Ixodes or deer tick or black-legged tick, all the same tick, that cause Lyme disease, that carry Lyme disease, those have to be attached from 24 to 36 hours in order to transmit the disease. So if you can get the tick off of you in less than 24 hours, most likely you're not going to get Lyme disease from it. All right? So the best thing to do is prevent. Check yourself out when you've been out in an area where there might be a lot of ticks. Remove any you find and use the proper technique. Don't blow out a match and stick it on the tick. Don't smear anything on it. Just firmly but gently grab a hold of it until it lets go and get rid of it.